My name is William Carl Thomas.
At the end of World War II, the United Nations divided the peninsula of Korea into two nations, Communist North Korea and Democratic South Korea. On June the 25th, 1950, North Korea invaded South Korea, initiating a war that took the lives of more than 3 million people, including 33,686 American servicemen, 137,899 South Korean military, and 373,500 South Korean civilians. Peace talks began in 1953, but did not stop intermittent combat for another 2 years, until an uneasy armistice was reached, an armistice which was repeatedly violated by North Korea ever since. In 1953, I served as an Air Force correspondent stationed 4 miles from the international border between the two nations, dodging 58 caliber slugs when we were strafed at sunrise and sunset, and occasionally seeing my friends' corpses carted off when they fell asleep on nighttime guard duty or were too close to a fuel dump that got hit. But the most memorable experience of that year was meeting and attempting to help 3 women who had banded together in order to survive the war. The youngest was a teenager who saw her mother and policeman father violently killed, witnessed the massacre of a group of children her father tried to save, was raped by a North Korean soldier who she subsequently killed with his own weapon, and saved the lives of the other 2 women who banded with her. One of the other women was a young woman with a baby. Her widowed university professor father had wed her to an elderly, wealthy politician to provide security for her. But on the very first day of the war, she lost her father and husband, as well as any wealth they might have provided. The oldest woman had once been a farmer's wife, who saw the Japanese abduct her teenage daughter to use as a sex slave comfort woman during the Japanese occupation in World War II. She saw her husband shot dead when he attempted to stop the abduction, and spent her later years as a housekeeper for the young woman's university professor father, at one point risking her life to save the young woman and her baby from death. The first 2 chapters of my novel, The Josan and the G, are based on the stories these women told me, which I have good reason to believe are absolutely true. The other 10 chapters are a work of fiction based on events that occurred to myself and others during my year of duty in Korea. Josan is the Americanized pronunciation of the Korean word for girl, and G is the Americanized pronunciation for the Korean word for rat. The home of these women had a hole in the ceiling and floor where a dud bomb had fallen. Their home was also inhabited by a huge rat, who would sometimes make an appearance as he peered through the hole in the ceiling. He was the metaphor for all the challenges that haunted their home and their survival after the war. This novel covers the underlying politics of the Korean War, the suffering of a nation when its infrastructure is destroyed, and the agony and ecstasy of a wartime romance that blossoms when love is the only antidote for tragic loss. I hope it is recognized and utilized as a historical and sociological work, documenting the mistakes of the past which tragically appear to be repeated in our world of today.
I have more than 10 books in publication, all available in print and digital editions from Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and any bookseller via the book's ISBN number.
Read descriptions and excerpts of all my books on the publisher's website, www.mediamaestro.net. If you are a film producer, I have screenplays available of all my books. If you are a news director or host of any media venue, print, radio, TV, podcast, I am available for phone or Skype interviews. Contact me at williamcarlthomas@gmail.com. That's Carl with a K. If you are a reader who liked my work, please post a reader review on Amazon or Barnes & Noble's websites. Or if you are a reader who wants to criticize or communicate with me for any reason, I welcome your feedback via williamcarlthomas@gmail.com.
Listening, and I look forward to hearing from you.